All right, good morning, y'all. So it is Wednesday morning. We are getting ready to roll out. New guy's on his way, and yeah, we got a pretty good bit on the list today. It's just not a lot of money. It's like a lot of running around, really. And that's what kind of happens as you get into the end of the season, because a lot of people don't want you to come. You know, that kind of thing. After we do this run today, yeah, after we do this run today, we'll be pretty caught up on all the yards as far as the regular yard stuff. So I know I mentioned yesterday that I ordered a power rake. So the power rake shipped yesterday afternoon. I talked to the dealer over there, and so at the end of the day, I ended up paying $7,500 for the power rake. So, and I'm getting a $9,600 unit for $7,600 and some change. But you know, now that I know, or at least hope, that I got a guy that's coming to work all winter, that I know is coming to work, that I know is not going to be, you know, not coming in, and or at least, you know, I hope that, you know, so far so good, that I know is, you know, wanting to be out here all winter. And I know for sure that he can come, that he can be here. So I went on and spent the money and got the power rake so I can do more work. So I hadn't really... All right, y'all, so I do the same thing over here on this property every time we do it. Usually what I'll do is I'll get the guys started and I'll go grab everybody a biscuit. It's worth you know, the $2 or $3 a biscuit, you know, to get the job going and get the day rolling. And it motivates them a little bit too. Y'all saw I got the Budweiser out here today. He's going to help us on some of these push mowing ones. I'm not going to overwhelm the young guy with everything he can kind of see, because Bo knows all the properties, and though Bo's got his issues, and so do I, but Bo being one of them. The new kid though, he's he pulled up this morning with his lawn trailer and his mower, and he got some issues with his trailer, and I told him that I would look at the trailer when we got done working today, and I would fix whatever's wrong with it, you know. There ain't nothing on a trailer I can't fix, you know. But on his trailer, it's only a 5x8, so it's not a, you know, it wouldn't be a hard job to replace the axle if you had to. But it ain't the axle, it's just a ramp, a busted weld on the mesh on the ramp. I can fix it, no problem. You know, I haven't even seen it. I haven't seen where it's messed up at, but I know that I can fix it. You know, whatever you gotta do. Sometimes that mesh, well, all the time on the smaller the trailer, the less quality of the build, because it doesn't have to be hardcore. You know, that's a problem that I've had with a lot of my trailers, is that the build is usually determined by the capacity of the axles. So you're going to get a heavier gauge trailer if you got a tandem axle, 3,500 pounds, than a single axle. And then you're going to get an even heavier build if you got, you know, 10,000 pound axles. You know, it's going to be, the gauge of steel it's built with overall is going to be thicker, more higher quality, and the welds are going to be more. And then you got and then once you get on up to you know, big boy stuff like, you know, 14,000 pound equipment trailers and stuff, well, that you go into a whole another class of steel sizing and all for that trailer. So, you know, these are just little things that you pick up on, you know, when you're out here, and it's just really common sense, man. You know, the bigger the trailer, the bigger the steel, of course. The bigger that, and if you don't know if it's a big trailer or not, just look at the axles. Just look at the lugs. and that'll tell you. I can look at the lugs on a trailer, the lug nuts on a trailer wheels, and I can tell you what the capacity, or just about what the capacity of the trailer is. You know, you got a 5 lug, that's usually 3,500 pounds. And then I think you got a 6 lug, I think that's 5,000 pounds. And then I think, I don't know, I think it's 8 lugs for the 14K, you know. And then I think they even get more than that. The more lugs you got, the more weight you're usually carrying. You know, of course, bigger tires and bigger everything. So, but having Bo out here is going to really kind of streamline everything. And I didn't have to have him out here. He called me this morning begging for work, and you know, really just kind of just wanting to get out the street, probably, you know. So, and he knows all the properties today. I told him how much money he would be making today if he did help, and I told him that, you know, ain't nobody making a lot of money today because of the route, and well, there's just not a lot of money on this route when you compare it to the expenses of the business. Now, I know a lot of guys might come in the comments and say, well, hell, man, there are guys that work for you, they ain't got nothing to do with the expenses of the business. Again, like I said, when the way I pay them, it does have something to do. The expenses have everything to do with what they make, just like the expenses have to do with a lot to do with what I make, you know. So we're gonna keep the expenses down, but the thing is, the work's not gonna be hard at all for anybody, for neither one of the guys working out here or for me, because you know, we got 3 people instead of 2, you know. But we're doing about 14 properties. But there's a lot of driving, you know. So you weigh this, and then you weigh that, and then you say, man, there's a lot of driving, and then there's a lot of this, and then there's 2 guys, and then there's, you know, there's push mowing, and you know, you don't develop the memory of your customers like I got the memory of my customers, and every detail of every job of every customer I know all the details. I know all of what their expectations are of every customer I got, every single one, because I pay attention to the customers and what they need, what they want, and what their expectations are. You got to know what the expectations of the customer is. You got to, and then you meet those expectations, of course. That's a mandatory minimum. Meet the expectations of the customer. And then, you know, you might, you know, if you see that the expectations are not hardcore like other customers, then you can do things like spray and things like that to help you on your labor end, on your detail end. So, like the one that they're at now, when I get back over there, I'm going to spray it. Okay, I'm going to spray the back. Now, he usually pays me about $300 a season to spray the back. Well, I sprayed the back about a month ago, but we've had a lot of rain and stuff, so the back, I noticed last week when I was over here, the back was kind of growing up a little bit. So I'm going to spray it today. Not all of it, but just a piece that's growing, some of it is growing back. And, you know, if he wants to break bread with Ray and give me extra money for that, he can. But if not, I'm not sweating it, because he's already paid me like $330 to spray this season, you know, ever since April, you know, May. So what he'll usually do, and I know this because I know my customers, what he'll usually do is just say, how much I owe you for the spray? And, you know, usually for each application, I charge about $90. And there's good money in spraying, y'all. Now, when I say spray, I'm not talking about spraying the grass. I'm not talking about spraying nothing but the woods and places where you don't want no vegetation. In Georgia, the laws for fertilization applications and things like that, they're not as stiff as they are up north. You know, there are some bylaws and stuff, but they're not nothing like up north. You know, well, we don't, you know, at least where I'm at now, I don't know. I've heard of guys up north getting pulled over, and the folks are asking them about the spray. I couldn't imagine that happening down here. Now, I ain't saying it don't. Now, if you run up on a golf course somewhere and you're spraying some crazy strong chemicals out close to a golf course or something, some of them rich folks might call somebody. You know, they know somebody, they call somebody that knows somebody else, and you might find yourself in a jam. You know, yesterday, I appreciate everybody yesterday on the video, commenting and everything. And, you know, it means a lot when you guys comment and have things, you know, to say about the videos. That means I'm touching some nerve, you know. But I've, you know, ever since I've been self-employed, and I've seen, you know, how I have to pay people, or you know, paying hourly, and just the whole concept of paying hourly. I've done a whole 360 on that in the 15 years I've been self-employed. Now, when I work for a company or whatever, you know, and I've never worked for a landscaper, so I don't really know how any of them do that. But when I worked in corporate America, you know, I understood, you know, there was an hourly thing and blah, blah, blah. But when I got self-employed, I realized just after a few years that I started thinking, you know, who come up with hourly? Who made the laws of hourly, you know? And so I started doing just a little bit of research and just a little bit of reading on it, and you know, my opinion, it's just my opinion. My opinion on the hourly is just that. It's just my opinion. But when I think of hourly, and I think of who it benefits, and why would somebody come up with that? I believe some bureaucrat somewhere come up with this hourly concept, right? Somewhere along the line, I don't know where or when, and for their buddies that are in big business, to help their buddies in big business, you know, with labor, and you know, paying labor fairly or not, or whatever. And making sure they have labor. And I really ain't wording it like I want to, but that's what I think about, you know, hourly. I mean, you know, I just think it was some bureaucrat somewhere that came up with this and sold the idea and made it a rule, a law, a way of life. You know, and the reason why he did that, because he got his buddies in the textile and the railroad and all the big business back then was having problems with labor, or having problems with keeping labor, or having problems with paying labor, or even taking advantage of labor. So they had to make rules and laws to protect the businesses, right? The big industrial businesses, and they also had to make rules and laws to protect the little laborer too. And in the course of doing that, society, in my opinion, society kind of just fell in line, you know. And I'm part of society, and I see where they're coming from, but as I got in business for myself, I started seeing who the hell come up with that. Because for a small business like mine, it don't hardly apply. It's not really designed for a small business like mine, you know. And of course, over the years, the bureaucrats have made it, you know, modified it somewhat, like with waitresses, you know, they're getting, you know, $3 an hour plus tips, and then they modified it some more for commission people, and then they modified it some more for, you know, people on salary, and you know, and pretty much at the end of the day, it probably works for the masses, but in small business like mine, it don't work. It just don't work. So I kind of wanted to give you guys my take on that. I'm a real opponent of hourly. I never liked it. I never liked getting paid by the hour. I always did, because that was just an accepted thing. You know, when you're working, you know, 40 hours a week at a job. Now, who made the rules that you're supposed to work 8 hours a day? That same bureaucrat. Who made the rules that you work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week? That same bureaucrat. And he did it all for his railroad, you know, barons, and, you know, the big Rockefeller people, and, you know, the people that really started our country, you know, that built our country, the Industrial Revolution and all that. That's just my opinion, and I might sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's just my opinion, so it don't really matter. I don't know that all that's true, but I bet you some of it is. All right, y'all. So we're on, I had to stop and get fuel. Of course, Bo wants to borrow money and all that stuff, and I ain't giving him no money, man. I ain't got no cash, man. You know, he's just so freaking needy, man. You know, but I already knew that coming in, so I can't cry about it. He working good though, so. But he ain't gonna get no money from me until we're done. Cause this is the last stop, and I bought him a biscuit this morning. So he ought to be grateful that he got a biscuit instead of just trying to get more and more and more and more and more, you know. Of course, the new guy, he's got his own money, you know. He don't need nothing from me, you know. And he's worked every day this week. So, you know, Bo ain't worked none this week. And the new guy ain't got not $1 from me all week long. Matter of fact, he bought me a Gatorade yesterday. You know, Bo ain't never bought me a Gatorade, not ever. So that rarely, you know, that's a new thing on me. All right, y'all. So I dropped Bo off at the veranda, and me and the new kid, we're doing this one right here, and we got one more we're gonna do on the way back over to the veranda. And yeah. Pretty easy, man, really. I'm seeing that there ain't a whole lot of money on this route, you know, all the driving. 2 guys is terrible on this route, you know. Having 2 guys out here, we're at 12:30, man, and I don't even think we've generated $500 yet. Me and him gonna go hit this one other one that don't really require any nothing. So yeah, good job, man. Hell to the yeah. That's a wrap on the day, man. Yeah. I gotta show you. Wop. Wop. Y'all see it, man. So yeah, man. About got done. Well, we got done with everything we needed to do today. We didn't make as good of money today as we did yesterday or the day before, but you know, there's a lot of traveling on this particular job. There's a lot of traveling on this particular day, and you know, you got to take the good with the bad, you know. So the new guy, he did great today. Also, when we got done working, you know, he, like I was telling you guys, he does his own little gig too, you know. And he was having some problems with his trailer. So I just spent about 15 minutes, you know, looking at his trailer and fabricating a little something for him to where he could, where the meshes will stay on there. The mesh on the back of the trailer, you know, on the ramp, the mesh is, you know, it's like any other mesh, you know, it's real thin to weld, and you can't hardly get it hot enough to get a good bead on it. So not that grade or that, you know, that thickness of metal. So I cut a piece of steel to go across there on the back side of that to hold that mesh up there, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. It's his father-in-law's trailer, and it's a small trailer. So, you know, small trailer is small, metal is small, everything. And that's okay. You got to start somewhere, you know. I don't mind helping him out, you know. So, you know, so he made decent money today, and he got his trailer fixed, you know. I mean, just, you know, that's another little perk that you have when you're out here and you do a good job. And, you know, anything that I can help you with, I will. But you can't irritate me all day long and then expect me to do that. If you work good and have a good mentality, a good attitude, then, you know, I'll do anything in the world for any of the guys that work for me, as long as it makes sense to me, you know. Now, I'm not going to give Bo $1,000 or nothing. I'm not going to get Bo an apartment, and I'm not going to, you know, give Bo anything, because I know what that means. I know what that does. But the new guy, he, you know, he did well today, did well yesterday, did well today. He's doing good, man. So, you know, that's just another little perk, you know, to working with me out here. And, you know, back to the pay thing, you know, I didn't ask him to pay me to help him to fabricate that and fix that for him. You know, that's what people do for people that are trying to help themselves. You know, I don't want him to get out here and have an issue with loading his mower on the ramp because the trailer ramp done caved in. And when I know that I could spend 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes with it, with my welder and some scrap steel I got laying around to cut to fit and weld it on there. And, you know, I mean, you know, how hard is that for me? You know, it's about, you know, it's nothing for me. I don't mind. Now, if you out here and you want to be ignorant and be a knucklehead all day long and defy everything that we're doing, have a smart mouth and have all these needy issues, well, I'm not going to feel like fooling with you when I get done working. You know, when you work for a small business like mine, you know, it behooves you, it's not mandatory, but it behooves you not to, you know, alienate the man that's paying you. I mean, I'm not saying it's mandatory, and I'm not saying let the boss man just dog you out any kind of way, and I'm not saying let the boss man handle you any kind of way, but don't go out of your way to irritate him. Don't go out of your way not to be you know, approachable, and don't go out of your way to irritate him, pretty much, because whoever's paying you, you want them to like you, you know, best they can. And whether that's right, wrong, or whatever, if I got guys out here that I don't like, though I'm having to work with them, but I don't like them, I'm not going to do anything for them in the off time. I'm not going to help them do nothing. Now, am I wrong for that? Well, you know, I get to pick how I want to spend my off time. And it ain't going to be with some knucklehead that irritates the hell out of me while I'm out here working. I mean, I'm just saying, man. You know, the new kid is stepping up. The new kid is doing, you know, the work with no issues. And I want to show him that I don't mind, you know, helping him too, you know, outside of work, when little things like that, you know. If he'd have had to take that trailer to a shop, hell, they would have charged him $200 or $300 to do what I did. I know they would have. And he wouldn't have had the trailer. He wouldn't have been able to make no money with the trailer today. Sometimes, and I'm the same way, I have to nurture relationships. I do. I nurture them, like with my mechanics that work on my trucks and stuff. I nurture the relationship. You know, I go out of my way to nurture the relationship, you know, to ease it along, to not offend, You know, and that's what you should do if you're out here working for somebody like me. Whether you're right or whether it's right or wrong, or you feel bad about it or right about it or whatever, you want the guy that pays you to like you. It's not mandatory, but it helps. Okay, put it like that. If I didn't like the new kid, and I didn't think the new kid was trying to be better, then I would have never helped him do that today. I would have never fixed that for him. But one thing I did do today that is really gonna help us is I picked up a $4,500 job with the landscape rake. I mean, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. I talked to her today when we were over there doing the yard, and she's on board. As soon as all the leaves fall, bam, I'm gonna be over there with the landscape rake, $4,500 job. Now there's a few other things to do outside of just the landscape rake, but the landscape power rake, the Harley rake, is going to get me in the game. So if you can pick up, you know, a good job like that, if you're a small business like me and you keep your overhead down and, you know, you try to be smart with your money and all that, a $4,500 job after I just spent $7,500, that's that, and I did not even count that money as money that I'm going to get back on the power rake. That's an additional job that I picked up today. And I just talked, and because I knew that she was wanting to do certain things, and I didn't, and so I just approached her and told her the whole situation, and she's like, Ray, I'm in. Let's do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. So that's where we're at. It's a great day. Great day for Ray and company. Just saying. All right, y'all. It's Savvy Time Wednesday, man. I'll see y'all. Peace out.